Hi, it's Anastasia, and you're watching Consciously Digital Podcast. Stories and tips about people who are finding a better balance in their relationship with technology. And today I want to share with you a story of Ramesh, a former software developer who converted into a farmer. So Ramesh worked for many years in the US, in London, and in other European countries as a software developer for one of the biggest global gaming companies. And at some point, he decided to give it all up and start a farming business in India. So today we will talk to him about his journey and what he learned from it. You worked yourself like hardcore kind of in technology sector, and then you decided to move on. Maybe if you could tell me a little bit more about what you did and how you came to this idea.
Yeah. I finished my computer science engineering like in 1999, and then I worked in software industry like for since then until like 2 years back, 3 years back, and then I quit my job in 2000. I was working in US back then, so and then I decided to quit my job because like it was getting too much onto me. And whenever I come for vacation, like I used to like, hiking and stuff like that. Like, so I go to enjoy nature most of the time. And I came to know a friend, like who is a very good friend now. He was doing farming. So I just went there and volunteered there a couple of times. And I really liked it. And but the problem is like I did not have the money to buy the land or anything. So what I did was like, whatever money, little money that I saved from US, I bought the land, but it was just like a bare minimum, right? Like, so nothing is there. It was like a barren land, so nothing was there. So then I said, okay, maybe I need more money, so I need to go back, work again for 1 year, and then I'll come back. So that's when I came to London to work. I really enjoyed the work. I enjoy my software work. Like, so though I quit my job, I do things like with my mobile, I develop like mobile applications or do like software development for my friends and stuff like that. So it's not that like I hate my job and that's why I quit. Like, but I felt like this is like 15 years is too much to give to one field. And there's so much to explore in this world. Like, and so I decided to move on. And after 1 year I could not still gather the money, so I had to extend that like for 2 more years, like so. And then I moved to Spain, like and I don't want to stick to just London. I really loved Europe. After working in US, like I loved Europe so much. So I was like, okay, I need to spend more time and explore more of Europe. And then I was there in Spain for a year and a half. And then I built a farmhouse and had the basic things ready, like for cultivation. So we first did the first crop. It's called millets. It's called it's like grains, but it's an alternative to rice. We use it here, right? It's called ragi. So we cultivated that. And there's a person called Nammalvar in Tamil Nadu, near Pondicherry. He's a farmer, and he teaches people on natural farming. So with no pesticides and stuff like that. Like all his way of working is like using the bare minimum and not spend money on chemicals and not to buy seeds from somebody. So it's like a sustainable kind of farming.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for his training. Like, so during the 4 years when I was in India, so after US, like I went for a lot of trainings like this to different people and learned a lot and worked in their farm like for 3 months or 6 months, and I gathered a lot of information there. So then that's when I decided to have like a own farm and work on it. So Nammalwar is like he's a doctor, and he did like a lot of research and has his own way of doing farming. So with just like cow manure and like mulching and all those things, right? Like so, and I learned a lot. So then I decided, okay, this is the way I want to do. So absolutely no chemical, nothing, and want to do like natural farming where I can eat like good food and give people like good food and share it with everybody.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's
Interesting.
yep.
Um, When you were working in technology sector, how did you kind of come up with this idea of being in the farm? Was it something that you felt like the need to do more things that grounded you, or how did this whole idea of
Yeah, like I told you, like so even in US, like I used to go for hiking a lot. I mean, I'm more of a nature person. Like I love to be outside and do things, and so a couple of times when even when I was like working, when I came here for vacation, I did like a little bit of volunteering in farms. So I felt like really good, I mean, working on the soil. Rather, I mean, it's like a total contradicting to what I was doing, right? Like where I sit before a computer, stay focused all day, and not move my ass at all. Whereas like this one is like absolute like manual work, like where I had to do like a lot of physical labor, and just like out in the sunlight, like daylight all day.
mm,
So those are things which really pushed me, and it's like I mean, from a white screen to a green screen, basically, right? Like so where you. So
I
that's
like it, from white screen to green screen.
yeah, yeah.
But was there like anything particular that triggered you to say, no, actually, like this is the time I leave my tech world and I move to the nature world? Because it's quite difficult, right?
Yeah.
Like you
No,
have
no, yeah, yeah.
everything, like you're established there, you have a reputation, you probably, like you
Yep,
work in a
yep.
prestigious position, everyone loves it, and all of a sudden,
Yeah,
you're going for something that's less prestigious, it's manual labor, which in our society is not really appreciated.
that's true. I mean, actually, yeah. I mean, after working in the US, like I felt like life is becoming like too mechanical. So it's like paying your bill, work for your bill, and then like work hard like for 5 days and like wait for the weekend to enjoy, like go out for drink with friends and like do other things, right? So it became like very stereotypical, like, and a boring lifestyle, like which I felt, and though I was enjoying the work, it became like too strenuous after some time. And actually me and my friends, like, so we are like four of us, and we have a film production company as well, like so we made like short films and movies and stuff like that. So a
Ooh.
lot of our documentaries got selected in like various international film festivals. So that was like our weekend activity when we were in US. So that was like our getaway from the regular day job, right? Like so this we did for fun. And then we made like a few documentaries when we were there. Whenever we come for vacation, we do a documentary, go back, edit, and then like send it to festivals. So that was our thing. Then we decided, okay, we'll all quit our job. So which was like a very, I mean, spontaneous thing, right? Like we did not like plan for anything. So we said, okay, like three or 4 months we will save some money and then like go do films in India. So this is our home. We thought like it will be easier for us to stay here. I mean, get grounded and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I
This is
mean,
a
yeah, that was
transition.
our collective passion, and farming was mine thing. Like so, I was doing both of them.
Okay, so it was kind of a transition from tech
Yeah,
world into creative world, and like a little
yeah,
bit trying, and then into
yeah, yeah,
farming.
yeah.
And then, so from in this transition, like from somebody who has, I guess, never done any manual work, right, or at least like for a long time,
Yeah, yeah,
into
yeah.
actually doing lots of physical things and being outside, what was like the most challenging thing for you?
I mean, yeah, doing the physical labor was difficult. Of course, it was like I felt like, oh my god, like I'm not doing anything at all. Like so, sitting in before the computer made us like too lazy, right? Like, and so when I was doing it, it was like really difficult. Found it hard, but still, like I had so much passion, and so it was not a big deal. But there are like a lot of challenges. Like everyday challenge was like very difficult. Say for example, like initially when we were trying to clean up the land to get it to shape, so we were depending on like other larger equipments and people and stuff like that. So coordinating them and getting them to do the work was very difficult, and it was really challenging. So sometimes it really made me think like, oh, I was like just sitting in a chair and earning a lot of money, and I was spending like a lot of things and buying whatever things I want. And here I am like really suffering day in day out, like, and it's not going anywhere because I could not see a progress. Right? It's like a very slow thing. I mean, you can't put a seed and expect it to grow like into a tree like the next day. So it's like a very a lot of patience and waiting process here. So,
Mm.
and I did learn a lot of those things, right? Like whereas like in a computer thing, like you are like too fast, like doing things like you see a bug, you fix it, and then you move on to next thing and so on. or like a project is there for 3 months and then you move on to the next project, new client, new lifestyle, new friends. It was like that.
It's a bit like the timeline is very different. Like when we work in technology or with technology, everything is happening so fast and we're encouraged to go like on a faster pace.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, there I really observed like after coming here that we don't have the space to breathe actually. So we are constantly chased and chasing something. Like I mean, either like you have a deadline to chase, like you're working against it, and then you have on the other side like paying the bills and like doing other things. Like constantly you're on a run, and somebody is like pushing you from behind, and you are also chasing something which you don't know what. And that was the thing. But when I came here, it was like a totally like a slow motion thing, right? Like so life became like a very very peaceful thing. I mean, not peaceful but at least very slow, right? Like I mean, I could relate it to uh, like I did like a, what is it called, like parasailing, no, not bungee jumping. You jump from the parachute, right? Like I mean from the flight, like, and then like
Oh, the
what,
parachute jumping, no?
parachute jumping, right? Like I,
Yeah.
so when you do that, like the first 5,000 meters, it's like a free fall, and then the next 5,000 meter, like you have the canopy come out, like, and then it's like too super slow. It's like a slow motion. It was just like that for me. So where
Hmm.
where like I was like really running so fast, but when I came here, it was like absolute slow motion.
Is there something about the technology that kind of forces us to run? Or is it not the technology? Is it something like just like in this whole kind of Western, like crazy capitalistic
Uh,
production world? Or
yeah, I think it's both. Like so, one is technology, and now the other thing is the lifestyle itself. People constantly are like forced to, or they think that they have to constantly be running behind something. So we are basically trained that way. I mean,
Mhm.
even our education system and the society is pushing us that way. That's what I feel.
And what is it about technology specifically that makes us like feel that we need to rush and we can't just stop and take time
I
to?
mean, now, I mean, if you look at technology, like everything is like fast paced, right? Like, so people want everything instant.
Hmm.
So one, I mean, if you go for any social media, like you post a picture, you want immediate response for your picture. So somebody should like it, somebody should comment it, and so on. And then like the other thing is like the projects and the deadlines, right? Like so where you are like you are given constant deadlines, like when you are working with the technology. So I mean, there's nothing like okay, take your time and do it, right? Like so, it's not like that. And the other thing is like the whole and also like so I mean I think most of the technology people like are working as consultants, right? Like so they keep like moving from one client to another, so always they are into constant change, so they don't have real time to think about like what they want in life. So we
Hmm.
are constantly running behind something and we don't realize that that's a problem. So we realize it like maybe after like 10-15 years, then you sit back and relax, and then you think, oh shit, like what did I do? Like I've just been like running behind projects and did not do anything for myself. So, and the
Hmm.
other thing is like, so where people are the lifestyle, which I mentioned, right? Like, so where you want to have like a sophisticated like flat and car and stuff like that. So, and I mean, that's happening here in India, right? Like, so where people buy a flat, I mean, any software engineer, this is the lifestyle here. So they finish the college, they join a job, and then they buy a apartment or a flat and a car. So with a loan, of course, right? Like from a bank loan, and then they're constantly paying it for 40 years or 30 years. So they are locked down to this lifestyle, so they can't even think of anything else, because no other job is going to pay this kind of, I mean, money, right? So they are pushed into this, and then they can't think of anything else.
How did you think this experience changed you of like changing faces and changing the sectors completely?
I mean, I get a broader perspective of life now. So whereas like earlier I was like too I mean trained too much to think one way.
Mm-hmm.
that okay, work and then like enjoy the time whenever I get, and then I keep moving on with the same lifestyle. Whereas here, like I have like a lot of things to look around, and I do like some social activities. I was doing like improv classes, like theater workshop.
Yeah,
I
I
was
do
doing
that
like,
as well.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh, you do. That's how you met
Yeah,
Luigi.
yeah, yeah. That's how I know Luigi. Yes.
Yeah. We do. I mean, he only introduced me to improv as well. So it's an amazing
Oh,
thing. So after coming to India, I'm telling all my friends about it. Like so,
oh yeah.
yeah. I'm coming to Barcelona in November for the festival.
Oh, you're coming. Oh, please get in touch when you are here. Well,
Yeah, sure,
I'll be
sure.
around as well. But oh, that's
Okay,
awesome.
okay. All right, that's nice. We'll meet. So yeah, I
Ah.
mean that's the thing, right? Like where you don't have time to think when you are in IT job or something. Whereas like now I have more things to see and look around. I take the
Hmm.
time to see things around.
Nice, nice. Um, is there, in your opinion, is there some kind of balance? Uh, is there a way to find a balance between, using technology because, the technology doesn't reach our lives, right? Like we're able now to talk to each other, being
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
opposite sides of the world. But at the same time, like without being rushed and like really, well, preserving our humanity in a way.
I mean, I think we need to find a balance there. So where if you can work like for 3 months and take a break like for a month, that would be a nice option, right? Like so
Mhm.
where you get to do your thing and then you go back to work like to earn the money, so the way you want to spend it on some. So I'm not saying, I mean, against like people spending money and stuff like that, but yeah, you need to do whatever you like, but then you need to also enjoy the time. You're like when you are like retiring and then like when you are out in the world, like so you don't have the energy to enjoy the world, right? Like so you are like too old to even go for a hike, so it's not how it should be. So I think,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, of course, like technology has enabled like so many things, so we should be able to use the technology rather than make the technology use us. So that's where we need to find a balance.
What's kind of your recipe for that? I guess like now for you it's easier because nobody forces you, right? Like to sit in
Yes,
front of
yes.
the screen.
No, I mean, ideal thing would be like 6 months work and 6 months off, right? So
Mm.
where you do something. I mean, you explore. Like, I mean, there are so many options like out there, right? Like, so you are like too concentrated on one thing, so we don't have the time to think of other things. So I would suggest like work for 6 months and take a 6 months break and do other things, which will give a perspective to life.
Mm, mm. This is nice. I really like it. Sounds like a good balance and exercise, especially
Yeah.
because we can now work remotely a lot as well, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, actually, even when I was working in Europe, I was able to do that, right? Like I took like a 2 months off from my work, so I took like 3 weeks of vacation, and the rest of the time I'll be working from home here, actually working from the farm. So I was attending my meetings and everything from the farm, right? Like so. So my manager was like really surprised to see me sitting, and he was like really jealous, right? Man, I'm sitting inside a concrete building, and you are like out there in your farm.
It's so fun. Would you
So
go back now to the tech environment to earn some cash?
yeah, I mean, I might like go, right. Like, I mean, if I need to work as a consultant, like maybe for like for few months, I mean, I don't mind like doing that. So it's not like I'm against it, right? And even now, like I am doing like some side project, like so I'm helping a doctor. I mean, I know a doctor, a Ayurvedic doctor here, who who um, who is not using like computer at all. So I'm helping him have his patient's record like entered into the computer and so on. So I'm
Hmm.
creating like a portal for him.
Mm.
So so
You're
which
like a master model for tech life balance.
I mean, actually, I mean, sometimes like the thing is like
Showcase in this video.
no. But then like it again depends on what you want, right? Like I mean, so at some point I realized like earning a lot of money is not a big thing. I mean, it's not everything. So I mean, if you are like really having like okay, you want to have like a drive a BMW and have live in a posh apartment, then maybe this is not the life you want. So then you obviously need to work for it, right? Like, but then if you think like life has more to it than just like like a sophisticated and a luxury life, then you can do something like this.
Well, I think another issue with the luxury life is that it's never enough luxurious, right? Like you have the latest BMW and then you want to upgrade it to a Tesla or whatever you want to upgrade
Yeah,
it
yeah,
for.
yeah. Yeah, actually, that is where we go in a loop, right? It's an infinite loop, right? Where you say like, okay, if I buy an apartment, I'll be satisfied, but then you're not. So
Yeah.
then you want like a big car and like, yeah, two car, like three car, like, so what is what is enough? It's up
Yeah.
to us to feel satisfied with what we have and do other things.
So maybe the last question then. So what would be your tip to somebody who maybe, like they still work in the industry? They're afraid of making any kind of radical steps, but they feel that, they're just being overwhelmed, as I say, as you say, they just simply don't have space and time to think. What
Yeah.
would be like one
Yeah,
simple thing they could do?
yeah, I would suggest them to save some money, like so that they can at least sustain for a year. Save money. It could just be like 2 months of savings, right? Like, so with that, they can live in 1 year of life comfortably.
Hmm.
So take that 1 year break, do something that they have never done before. So like go and find your other passion, right? Like, so
Hmm.
can be anything, just traveling, like backpacking, or like scuba diving or whatever, right? Like, so go find what it is, and then if you really feel like there's nothing out there which can entice them, and they feel like work is what gives them satisfaction, then they can obviously go back to it, right? You have your skill set. It's not like you if you just like quit this job, you're not going to get a job or something. So there's so much plenty of job out there, right? Like, obviously you're going to find a job, but the thing is like, take the courage to take a break for a year and do something which you have never done before, and obviously something will strike you and you will find like a whole different perspective to life, which you otherwise don't see.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and there will be more. We'll be talking to different people about how they manage to balance their use of technology, which can be amazing, and also their lives, their humanity. Because ultimately, our tech devices are amazing tools, but only as long as we are managing them and don't allow them to manage us. You have been watching Consciously Digital podcast with Anastasia. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.